Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kentucky Dance Academy Parent Orientation for our 2024-2025 season. Just note that it says parent, but that doesn't mean it's only for parents. It is for whoever is a grown-up in our dancer's life. Our agenda today, we're going to talk through dress code, studio culture, financial information, class cancellations and makeup classes, performance opportunities, progression through the levels, and community building. Let's start with dress code. Some basics here, and just for every slide, I'm not going to read through everything to keep this pretty brief. It's just I'm going to hit the big points. If your dancer is joining us and wearing a leotard and tights, they do not need to wear underwear under their leotard and tights. Some of our dancers feel better with underwear, and that is completely fine. What we do see is that sometimes our dancers get embarrassed if their underwear is showing under their leotard through their tights. So that's something to consider. As our dancers get older, our dancers with breasts may want a sports bra or another bra under their leotard for extra support. And then we suggest that our male identifying dancers or our dancers with penises probably want to wear a dance belt around age 11. Um, just a general rule for all of our classes, your hair should be secured away from your face so it's not flying in your eyes when you're trying to dance. The shortest kind of hair, you probably just need a clip or a headband. Longer hair, a ponytail, if it's like a little short, stubby ponytail. And then the go-to for dancers with hair about below the chin and longer, a bun is perfect. Dress code expectations and penalties. Dancers are expected to always follow dress code, but of course, things happen. And so there could be a day that you just forget the bag. There could be a day your bag is in dad's car and mom had to pick you up. Maybe your washer broke and you didn't have time to wash your leotard. Things happen. So when you are out of dress code every now and then, that is not a big deal. Um, what we're looking at here are dancers that are consistently out of dress code and getting to the bottom of that and making sure that we find accommodations for those people. So if your dancer has any specific concerns with modesty or body image or comfort, then just talk to your teacher and we'll find a way to work around that. I know that some people are self-conscious if they have scars, or maybe they're uncomfortable with the size of their body or the shape of their body. And we need to balance this need for your teachers to be able to safely assess how you're dancing with making sure we're being safe with our dancers' mental health as well. If your dancer is out of dress code twice in a row, then we'll reach out to the grown-ups and make sure that they know. Because sometimes you could send your kid with all this stuff and drop them off and think that they're changing, and maybe they're just not, and they just need a reminder. Another thing is just know that if your dancer cannot dance safely in what they're wearing, then they're not going to be allowed to participate in class. I don't anticipate that happening very often. Here are just some little tutorials for how to do a nice ballet bun. This is my go-to. This is what I would recommend for our dancers to use. It's the most secure. It works for almost any length of hair. There's also a million tutorials on TikTok and YouTube and everywhere. There's another option. This looks really beautiful. I always have trouble making this feel really secure. But there's another option you have, and it depends so much on your hair texture, on your hair length, on how thick your hair is. So do what works best for you and your dancer. These are the basics. Again, I won't read through everything. Youth division dress code is pretty straightforward. Um, Female identifying dancers, a leotard of any color. If it has an attached skirt, that is okay, but it is better to not have one. So for acro, we have more safety and we don't get tangled up in our skirts. Pink or skin tone tights, pink or skin tone ballet shoes, black tap shoes. That'll be for me and my grown up and tiny twirlers for sure. For our dancers in beginning dance, if they do beginning ballet, jazz, and contemporary, they'll need pink or skin tone ballet shoes and black jazz shoes, as well as access to bare feet for contemporary. If they're in beginning tap, acro, and hip hop, they will need black tap shoes, access to bare feet again for acro, and then tennis shoes, preferably that they only wear in the studio. Um, our male identifying dancers are pretty much the same. With the exception, they don't need to wear a leotard and tights. They can wear exercise clothes or play clothes, anything they can move fully in, and the same kind of shoes as our female identifying dancers. Pre-professional division ballet dress code, pretty much the same. As they hit pre-pro division, we do not like to have attached skirts on leotards. It's okay if they have a separate skirt, that would be fine. Leotard can be any color, any style. Tone tights, pink or skin tone ballet shoes for levels 1 through 3, and then level 4 and up. Make sure you have both regular flat technique ballet shoes and flat shoes, and those can be skin tone or pink as well. Our dancers are welcome to wear a skirt if they want to. They are also permitted to wear tight fitting shorts, and that means like not like the Nike running shorts, but like tighter fitting, like yoga shorts or booty shorts. Male identifying dancers, we prefer a solid color tee or tank. Men's tights, shorts, or athletic pants. Usually we do black or white ballet shoes. Sometimes we might need skin tone ballet shoes for certain performances. So whatever you have is okay. And then make sure, especially for ballet, a bun is very, very important for all of our dancers that can get their hair in a bun. For jazz, pretty much the same thing. Black on black is preferred, but any color leotard is okay. For jazz class, if you want to wear shorts, tights, jazz pants, which are kind of like yoga pants or leggings, that is okay. Um, Black jazz shoes are preferred. And then all of our older pre-pro dancers, so 4 through 7, will want a warm up. So they get good and warm and sweaty before class begins. Male dancers are pretty much the same. And then I would suggest a bun for jazz, but a ponytail is also okay. Just be aware if you have a ponytail or a braid that as you do turns and leaps, it might hit you in the face, and that is not comfortable. Contemporary is again pretty much the same with a small exception. For training days, same as jazz and ballet, a leotard of any color, and then tights any color. If they want to wear pants for contemporary, that's okay, or shorts, that is okay. Older dancers will want warm-ups to get good and sweaty, and then bare feet and socks as needed. There will be times that they will be barefoot, and there will be times that they will be in socks. So just be prepared with both. Sometimes they might be working on a combination or a dance and have performance days that they showcase that. So on those days, Miss Brittany or Mix Lane will reach out and let you know if they want to wear a dress or a different kind of costume or have a specific prop to perform that piece in class, then they will let you know beforehand. So for most days, it's the same as jazz and ballet. And for some days, they might have special times that they can wear extra costuming pieces. For tap, it is a little bit more relaxed because tap is much more about the sounds you are making rather than the way it looks visually. So dancers are allowed to wear warm-ups, exercise clothes, sweatpants, hoodies, anything they are comfortable moving in. It does get sweaty. They work hard, so probably you'll want some lighter layers under there. Most of our dancers that take tap also have other classes that day, so I would suggest just being in your most strict dress code and then layering on top of that for tap class. You do absolutely need to have your tap shoes, though. It is impossible for anybody to be working on tap technique and not have their tap shoes. For acro, this is a really big safety one. A leotard of any color, no skirts at all. Transition tights or bare legs. Transition tights are the kind that roll up so you can access your bare feet. Make sure that if your dancer does have tights that fully cover and are full-footed, cut the bottom of those, or we can cut the bottom of those because it's just so slippery on those mats if they do not have that. And if they have socks, they're going to have to take them off. There can be no loose fitting clothing over their leotard or over their bras and shorts. It's really dangerous for the teachers to spot them. Their arms can get twisted or their fingers can get twisted. And it's unsafe for the dancers because they can't get a good grip on the dancer and make sure that they're safely doing all the skills that they need to. Also, for acro, especially, no dangly earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings. This can hurt when they're flipping and doing all their cool acro moves. We don't want anything that can get caught or injure their body or injure somebody else's body. Make sure that their hair is up. I know a bun can be hard if it's a really big bun. So a ponytail is okay for that class. Make sure it's nice and secure. It's not going to get in their face when they're upside down. Acro is one of those that if they are not dressed safely, that we cannot let them participate. We need to make sure that we're keeping our teachers safe and our dancers safe. For theater dance, pretty much the same as jazz and as contemporary. Black on black is preferred, but any color leotard and then any bottoms that you want to have. Shorts, tights, jazz pants, leggings, warm-ups for older dancers again. The special thing about theater dance is they will need character shoes, and those are kind of like low-heeled Mary Janes. This is the class where they learn how to dance in heels, which is a really important skill to have. Our male identifying dancers can wear jazz shoes like they do for jazz classes. For hip hop, again, this one's a little more informal. As long as they can move fully, that is most important. They will be sweating in hip hop class, to make sure we have some layers under there so they can kind of strip down as they need to. Same as tap, most of our dancers have other classes on hip hop days, so I would recommend starting with whatever your strictest dress code is. So like for ballet or for acro or whatever, and then layering on top of that to feel good. Something that we have run into is that sometimes we'll have dancers try to do hip hop in shoes without backs, like Crocs, slides, slippers, sandals, anything like that. And that is a huge trip hazard, especially on our Marley floors. That's that rubber coating on the floor. So if your dancer does not have proper shoes, that they cannot participate in hip hop. Make sure that they have sneakers. I would suggest a pair that they only wear in the studio just to keep the floors a little extra clean would be ideal. And adult hip hop is pretty much the same. Wear what you're comfortable in. It's just for fun. Our adult hip hop dancers don't need to be ready to perform at any time, so you just wear what you are comfortable in, and it's a fun time. Ready for class or not ready for class, making sure that we are looking like our dancer A and not dancer B, even though dancer B is super cute. Here's some resources. I'll make sure that these are on our website as well. This is about resources on tights, shoes, etc., in skin tone versus pink. Pink tights are rooted in white supremacy when only white dancers were permitted to perform in ballet. And so over the last 4 or 5 years, the ballet world has started making this shift away from pink towards skin tone, and we decided to jump on there and do that too and make sure that we are honoring all of our dancers and their unique individuality and beauty. Where can I buy dancewear? There are some stores that are pretty close, unfortunately not in Frankfort. Dance Biz in Lexington has a little bit of everything. They have great stocks of leotards, tights, all kinds of shoes, tons of options. And then Kinney Dancewear in Louisville, which is about the same distance, just the other direction, has a similar stock of different shoes, different leotards, different accessories you might need for class. Especially for my dancers on pointe, I recommend Kinney Dancewear for pointe shoe fitters. They have a really knowledgeable, wonderful staff there. So if you are looking for a pointe shoe fitting, to change what style of pointe shoe you're wearing, I would go to Kinney. We also have a small store on our second floor. It's your last store on the right. That's all self-service. You just send me a message, email or text or whatever, and I can charge your ClassBug account, or you can Venmo. We have our Venmo QR code there, and you pick what you need. Especially if your dancer is younger and growing, I would say check with us first because we have used leotards and gently used shoes for $5 or $8. So it is worth a stop in. Then, of course, online resources, Discount Dance Supply and Dancewear Solutions are both dance-specific websites with big selections of all the stuff you might need. And then obviously Amazon is always a choice. My rule of thumb that I recommend to everybody is if you can find it somewhere cheap, do that. There's no reason to pay extra. Studio culture, again, I'll just read the highlights here. Being early is on time, being on time is late, and being late is unacceptable. This is a life lesson that we like to instill in our dancers because it doesn't matter if your dancer stays with us all the way from me and my grown-up through graduation, or if they only dance with us for a little bit of time. We want to make sure that we're instilling our culture in a way that's going to inform them as they go on to do whatever they do in their life. So making sure that they are on time and early and prepared for class is so important. They can use that for jobs, for interviews, for school, for everything. We suggest about 10 or 15 minutes before class. They have time to set their bag down, get their shoes on, make sure their hair is up, know where their class is, have themselves together. That's not always possible because, school drop off and bus schedules and all the things. But aim for that 10 or 15 minutes early. I will also say that we have seen in our dancers if they come early and they have time to connect with their peers and have some social time before class, they're usually able to focus better in class. So it would be naive to think that socialization is not part of this. The studio is for dancing, not talking, eating, running, swinging, all of that stuff. Obviously, we're going to have fun days, like our Back to Dance Bash is the day that we play games and we eat and we do stuff in the studio. Sometimes we might have cupcakes for our birthday. Sometimes we might do games instead of our regular class. So there are exceptions, but something that we want to be sure of is that we're holding the studio spaces somewhere that's where we put in the work. This year especially, we're really going to work on having all of our dancers be able to enter the studio independently, with the exception of me and my grown-up and special needs dance. But tiny twirlers, beginning dance, and all of pre-pro, have them be able to go into class independently and not need their grown-ups with them for that entire class period. Also making sure that any younger siblings, friends in the studio, making sure that they have their own space and they stay out in the waiting room and they play with all the stuff we have out here and they don't go into the studios. This is one that always gets commented on when we have guests come in. Dancers say thank you to their instructors. That's just good manners that we like to see. And then our dancers follow the rules out of respect. I am from a very traditional ballet background. Often it could feel like not following the rules, you'd be in trouble or you would disappoint your teachers. We want to be sure that our dancers are choosing to do the right thing because they love being here and they respect being here and they love their space and what they do here. This is a big one. I'm not sure if type A people just really like dancing or if dancing makes type A people, maybe a little bit of both. But we do have a lot of perfectionists in the studio. And so perfection is the goal, but mistakes are part of the journey. We try to make sure that we always remind our dancers that it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it matters how many times you get up. So part of learning dance is making mistakes, and we are here for all of that. On to financial information. This will be very important for our learners. Tuition policies at KDA. We do have priorities here in how we decide what everybody pays for dancing. Our first priority is that we don't nickel and dime you. We don't do enrollment fees. We don't do withdrawal fees. We also don't do a yearly contract. So you can stop and start anytime. You just communicate that to us. The only thing you're ever on the hook for is monthly tuition. And otherwise, everything is optional or we just don't charge it. Another thing that we take very seriously is that all of our dancers, I'm so sorry, all of our instructors at KDA make a fair wage for their time and expertise. So each instructor has been through a rigorous background check and interview process. They are uniquely qualified to do what we do here. They align with our values, and we pay them as much as we possibly can. So your tuition, first and foremost, goes towards making sure our teachers are well paid. And then our final priority is making sure we have a really good facility, making sure that we have the space we need to accommodate all of our dancers, making sure that we have up-to-date flooring, to keep their joints and muscles safe, up-to-date mirrors so they can see themselves, up-to-date equipment for acro and our ballet bars and everything else we might need, good sound systems. So part of your tuition goes towards upkeep and rent on the studio. Monthly due dates for tuition. Tuition is calculated by taking the whole number of classes and then dividing it by 10, assuming an August through May season, which is our full dance season. Even if you join partway through, that is okay too. There will be months that you have more classes or fewer classes, just based on holidays and breaks, other things that go on in the studio. To make it easy to budget is the same amount of tuition per month, regardless of that. We just chunked it all out. Most of our families choose to do tuition online. Our ClassBug system automatically charges on the first of each month. That is really easy to change. Make sure that you email that, and that'll be a recurring theme. Anything to do with tuition, especially our money stuff, make sure you email it so we have a paper trail so I keep myself accountable. If we need a payment plan, if we need a tuition date adjustment, if we need to prorate for some reason, all of that is a paper trail email situation. Any additional fees? If for some reason your tuition is late, you'll get a $25 late fee. I don't like to charge that, so if you know ahead of time that that's not going to process correctly, just let me know so I can cancel that fee. We do have additional fees. All of these are optional. September 7th is our first one, Dancer versus Cancer, is our first participation fee. And we'll talk about all of these more in depth in a moment. October 12th is our Nutcracker participation fee. And January 18th is our Spring Performance Peter Pan participation fee. Again, all of those are optional. If you need to withdraw from classes, that is okay. We do not have a contract. So anytime you want to stop or start classes, that is okay. Make sure you notify me, the Academy Director. So email, again, is best. And then you can estimate the last time that your child has attended class. And we also have attendance book, so I can look at that. If you have contact information for your instructors, go ahead and let them know. I will also do that. And then make sure you get confirmation of your withdrawal. And then we'll talk through like if we need to refund anything or if we need to prorate anything, and we'll go from there. Class cancellations and makeup classes. Weather cancellations. In the event of bad weather, we will announce all cancellations via our usual methods of social media, our band app, and email. For evening classes, we'll make that call by 1 o'clock that day. For Saturday morning classes, we'll do that the night before so you don't get up and get ready and then realize there's no class. Generally, we follow the Franklin County schools for their cancellations, but not 100% of the time. Sometimes bad weather rolls in after school hours. Sometimes it'll snow a little bit in the morning and then be totally gone by afternoon. So generally, we'll do what county schools do, but not always. And last year we had more like tornado days than snow days. So just be aware that's an option too. In the event a particular day of the week has 2 or more weather-related cancellations, we will have a studio-wide makeup day. And usually we'll do that the week of spring break, or we will tag that on to the end of the season in May. But that would only be if like a Monday was canceled more than once, or a Tuesday or whatever. Makeup classes, these would be classes that your dancer has missed. Ultimately, these are up to you all. If you all want to take extra classes to make sure that you're getting all of your money's worth or you're making sure that you're hitting your attendance goals. We keep track of attendance, but we don't tally them up and send them to you. So families can use them consistently. Any youth division class can attend the same level in age group of class, just on a different day. That'll work for tiny twirlers and beginning dance, because you can just jump into the same age group on a different day, and that can be your makeup class. For me and my grown-up and special needs class, since those only happen once a week, you can ask your teacher and we'll suggest a good makeup date, usually bumping up an age group or jumping into another one or a private lesson. Pre-professional division, since most of these classes only meet once a week, We usually say that you can do a makeup class with the level above you or the level below you. So for example, if you are in Jazz 3 and you missed a class, you could do a makeup class with Jazz 1, 2, or with Jazz 4, 5. Performance opportunities, fun stuff. Oh, way too far. Oh no, how do I go back? Let me go back. I messed up. I'm so sorry. Okay, now we're good. Okay, I fixed it. Dancer versus Cancer is our first one. This is our community collaboration with the American Cancer Society and Relay for Life of Franklin County. I am the event chair for Relay for Life of Franklin County, and that's kind of the way we got involved in this. If you've been with us previous years, we've done this as a non-traditional outdoor performance. This year, just based on some dates and some ways to make it work better, we're going to be at our home theater, the Grand Theater, and we are going to do a one night only, pay what you can model, and 100% of our proceeds are going to go to American Cancer Society. This performance is much more minimal than Nutcracker, much more minimal than any of our spring shows. We keep it very simple. And this is specifically geared to our non-ballet classes. So that would be beginning tap, acro, and hip hop, jazz 1 through 7, tap 1 through 7, or advanced, intermediate, and beginning, hip hop 1 through 7, theater dance 1 through 7, contemporary 1 through 7, and pre-professional acro classes. Ballet classes, we'll see. Usually we are so caught up in Nutcracker that we choose not to have our ballet classes participate, but we can do that on a case-by-case basis. And then our older students will have the opportunity to choreograph their own works if they would like to do that as well. Since this is a small scale in the way of costuming and scenery and preparation, since this is a smaller scale participation, our fees are due on September 7th, and for everybody, it's $40. That's going to cover your Dancer versus Cancer t-shirt, and that'll be your majority of your costuming. Usually we do black leggings or shorts, and then whatever your appropriate shoes would be for each class. There could be additional Saturday rehearsals. We will announce those as soon as possible. And then there's just one date to remember. We have our mandatory dress rehearsal at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, October 9th, and then our performance at 7 o'clock also on Wednesday, October 9th. That is on our fall break. The Nutcracker Big Kahuna one, that is a 2-weekend performance, December 13th and 14th, and 20th through 21st. We will talk more about what those 2 weekends mean. Participation fee for the Nutcracker is due on October 12th. There are slightly different rates just based on your dancer's age. Me and my grown-up and special needs dance, because they do not do Saturday rehearsals, is $60. Youth division, so tiny twirlers and beginning dance, is $80. Pre-professional division is $90. All of the rehearsals are going to take place on Saturdays, October 19th through December 7th, minus November 29th. That is the week of Thanksgiving. Some pre-pro division rehearsals, usually our oldest ones, are going to rehearse in class, but we need full participation to be able to do that. We won't leave anybody out. We'll have all of that out to families from every week's rehearsal schedule through dress rehearsal through show day schedules on or before October 14th. There are 2 different weekends, and this is a difference from previous years. Youth division will be assigned one weekend or the other. If you have a preference, we'll let us know that. So it will be either the first weekend as Cast A or the second weekend as Cast B. We are also allowing our pre-professional dancers to only do 1 week and not do both. Generally, we've done pre-pro, so level 1 through 7, do both weekends this year. If you would rather only commit to one, that is okay too. Please note there are mandatory dress rehearsals on December 12th for Cast A and December 19th for Cast B, and that is very, very important. Peter Pan is going to be in April 2025. I have a meeting with the Grand shortly, so we'll get those dates lined up. We do usually mid to late April to avoid any school conflicts for graduations and proms and all the things that happen in May. This is a full studio performance, but if your dancer does not want to be on stage, they do not have to be on stage. The only caveat there is that some of our class time is going to be devoted to rehearsals. So your dancer, even if they're not performing, will have a spot and they will learn the choreography and they will work on perfecting the choreography. They just won't be made to go on stage. Um, our participation fee for that is pretty early. It's January 18th, 2025. So we have enough time to order the costumes, make sure they get here. And that covers everything you're going to need. Again, the pricing is a little different based on how old your dancer is. Youth division is $60 for their initial or only class and $40 for each additional class. The additional class would only apply to our beginning dance kiddos that do both classes. And then pre-professional division, same idea, $70 for the initial or only class and $50 for each additional class. So if you were in level 1, ballet and jazz, you pay $70 as your initial for your ballet class and $50 as your additional cost for your jazz. All the rehearsals take place during usual class times. For our older dancers, they might be pulled into other classes or do some additional Saturday rehearsals. But all of that would be announced on or before January 26th. Dress rehearsals will be announced and performances will be announced as soon as we have those lined up with the grant. Rehearsal attendance policy. 80% attendance rate is expected. That just makes sure that we're all on the same page, we're all adequately prepared, and we're all rehearsing together, which is really important. If you fall below that, you might need extra rehearsals or take additional classes to catch up. Even if your dancer has 100% attendance, but they just need a little extra TLC, then they can also request a private or semi-private lesson at any point. The dancers asked me if I could do a tally of how many absences they could have for each performance and still hit that 80%. So I've done that here. Dancer versus cancer, since that is a really fast turnaround, every dancer can miss one class. Nutcracker, I have our ballet levels here, even though it's open to full studio. Usually it's our ballet kiddos that do it. Level 1 can miss 3 classes, level 2 can miss 6 classes, level 3 can miss 8 classes, and level 4 through 7 can miss 12. And those numbers are different since each of those levels comes different times per week. Peter Pan, I have it broken down by each class. And you can read through that since that's a lot of numbers and it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. But whenever you do miss, it'll go towards your 80% attendance rate. When you get close to that cusp, we'll let you know. So you know if you're falling behind, so there won't be any surprises. If for some reason you need to withdraw from a performance, it's pretty much the same steps that you need to do if you're withdrawing from classes. Make sure you email me first, the Academy Director. Costumes are expensive, going up in price. Thank you to this economy. And we order them early, but if I can refund anything, I will. So whatever I can do to refund it, I will do that for you. The costume, if it's already been ordered, belongs to you. So you can, when it comes in, have it, even if you're not performing, or you can donate it back to us, and that's also fine. Depending on where we are in the process, I will refund as much as I can and be really transparent with all of that. And then just something to think of is that we do need to pay our instructors for extra time. They'll need to re-choreograph any parts of the dance and re-rehearse any parts of the dance that would be affected from your dancer not participating. It's a lot more work when you withdraw from a performance, so earlier is better than later. And then this does not apply to severe illness or hospitalizations, personal emergencies, or family emergencies. So just know, if any of those situations apply to you, that would be a different case. Progression through levels. Youth division, pretty simple. It's pretty much by calendar age. Obviously, children progress at different levels. And so sometimes after discussing with parents, we might decide that a dancer needs another year with a younger group. So maybe they just need a little longer in tiny twirlers or a little bit longer in Me and My Grown Up. Or the opposite can be true. Maybe they're close to turning 8. And maturity wise, they're pretty much where they should be for pre-pro. So we might bump them up a level early. But for the most part, it's calendar age. And then pre-professional division is when that changes. It starts at age 8. And then after that, it's all based on progress and grasping concepts and gaining the skills. And so, something to just keep in mind, even this early in the process, is we only have 7 dance levels, and there are more grades than that in school. Usually there's 12 grades at school. So it is not uncommon to spend multiple years in the same level. And that is not a bad thing. We want to be sure that we are getting all the concepts and the building blocks we need so we can move up to the next level without any risk of injury, without feeling overwhelmed, without falling behind. So it is not uncommon for dancers to spend multiple years in level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It can happen at any point. It's not a negative. Using the KDA curricula as a tool for progression, we openly share our curricula. So if you ever are curious about what your dancer is learning, you can see that. You can refer to it all year long. You can always ask for more clarification. It's on our website, and then we'll also share that with our dancers. We usually print it out and have it in the studio as well. Something we've started doing are dancer evaluations at KDA. We do that for beginning dance all the way through pre-pro. We do that at the end of the year for sure. We're going to try to do it at the end of the fall semester as well, just to give you a progress report. Evaluations vary from teacher to teacher and from style to style. Sometimes it might be like a numbered scale of how they're doing on certain steps. Other times it's more of a free-form paragraph talking through their strengths and weaknesses. But it's the one time that we as teachers can really give personalized feedback and not have a time limit on it like we do. And these are just tools for your dancers to assess their growth and get personalized feedback. If you have a dancer that's just going to wreck them, maybe they don't need to look at it. If you have a dancer that's very competitive, maybe they don't need to look at a friend. So just think of your dancer and their own quirks and their own personality when you look at those evaluations. Point work at KDA. I am so picky about point work. This is one of the things in dance that can really lead to long-term injuries and long-term discomfort. So we take it really seriously. So we introduce point work usually at the very end of level 3. We start working towards gaining that strength really as soon as they start dancing, but particularly in level 3, we are really honing in on pre-point strengthening. At the end of level 3, usually after our spring performance, we bring in a physical therapist to do a screening to assess their strength, any potential injuries that could come up, anything that might stand in their way of developing well and going successfully on point. If we have any questions following that, then we might follow up with a doctor and do a referral to a medical doctor. Once they pass all the screening processes, we feel comfortable that they're ready, then they'll go and get fitted for their first pair of shoes, move on to level 4 the following year. We will communicate that with all of our level 3 families as we get closer to that, but it is a big deal. Summer classes and intensives. I know we just finished summer, so this is a lot to talk about right now, but the big takeaway is summer dancing is optional until you have point shoes. If you are on point, then you need to dance somewhere for some amount of time in the summer. We need to really be balancing our resting time because we're athletes with making sure we're maintaining our strength. So if you want to dance on point in the Nutcracker, you have to dance during the summer, and we can meet that requirement a variety of ways. Private lessons. Some studios encourage private lessons all the time. We are not one of those studios. This is a tool that we use based on some pretty particular things. So it could be making sure that we're hitting that 80% attendance to be able to perform, and doing some private lessons to meet that goal and make sure we're prepared for stage. Other times it might be for a scheduling conflict or a kid that doesn't thrive in a group class. Maybe it's better to do one-on-one training in particular dance styles. Or maybe they're just really hitting a stumbling block with something in class. They're having a hard time grasping something, gaining a step, progressing on, and they might need some private lessons and one-on-one help just to get over that hump. If you ever do need private lessons or feel like you're curious about private lessons, reach out to your instructor or reach out to me and I'll direct you to your instructor. Instructors are welcome to do that on their own time. And we, KDA, we do not charge a rental fee to our families or our teachers. So you just pay your teacher directly for their time and you don't owe anything to the studio. Community building. Studio communication to families. You can expect a weekly update email every Friday throughout the dance season. Sometimes it might be a little early or a little late, especially this year since I'm expecting my daughter at the end of October. We do use the email that you register with, but if you have another email that you prefer or you want to add another parent or another family member, or if your dancer's older and they want to get the emails, we can add an unlimited number of emails to our mailing list. We use MailChimp to send that out. We also have a band app. I'll make sure that we send that out and have a way for you all to join. Sometimes it's nice if you get bogged down in emails to also have the band app as a little extra reminder for anything that's happening. Connecting with dance families, we love seeing our families get to know each other. Please introduce yourself to the other dance grown-ups that are hanging out at performance times based on whatever group your dancer is in, their level or their casting group. We'll make chain emails so you all have each other's contact information and you can make plans about bringing snacks to share, entertainment for backstage, and also you can connect with whoever will be supervising your dancer backstage so you feel more comfortable with that. And then also help each other out. You can ask experienced adults that seem to know what they're doing for help. And if you see somebody looking confused and new and scared, then just reach out and see if you can help them. You can always email me and ask me for help, but you can also just reach out to another parent, and our families are really good about helping each other. We also have a Facebook group that's a KDA Families group, and you can join in there. They share a lot of handy hints and information for new dance families on there. And then cross-level friendships. Overall, our dancers are so good about forming friendships with dancers of all ages. There's a real mentorship dynamic, the older dancers working with the younger dancers. We have assistants in all of our youth classes as well as our lower level pre-pro classes. So older dancers are in there forming friendships and bonds. Encourage your dancers to offer help and assistance whenever they can. And we're a studio creative, dancers lifting one another up and really finding each other. So the more that I say it, the more that the other teachers say it, the more that you say it, the more we can make that continue to happen. And that is it. If you need anything, my name is Amanda Whites or Amanda Whites Keller. I got married last year. You can email me, Amanda at KY Dance Academy. There's no such thing as a silly question. There's no such thing as uh, like something not worth asking me. Always ask me, and I am always happy to help. And just let me know if you need anything. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.